Hi, y'all. I just wanted to, I want to start journaling everything that happened. There's so many people that have asked us questions and they want to know the answers of, where did everything start? Where has everything gone to? It seems like we have a really confusing story. A lot of people don't understand it. So what I've decided to do is to kind of record everything from the beginning as if it was just starting, sort of. But I've been journaling and just putting everything into dates. Sorry for the glare on my glasses, but what can you do? It's glaring from the, phone camera onto out of my glasses and back to you. So I apologize, but I have some things that I want to read and I won't be able to do it without my glasses. So anyway, I'm Chantel Hare and my husband Leo Hare. We decided about almost 2 years ago to come to Russia. In 2016, at President Trump's his first election, he and Putin were talking, and we remember him saying some stuff back in 2016 with Trump about just the things that he was doing in Russia. He was talking about how things could change with America since Trump was in, and we really appreciated what Putin was saying. So that was probably when we really started listening to what Putin had to say. And over the years, we've listened to his speeches off and on. And even my kids, they were homeschooled back in Texas, and we were listening to one of his speeches. It was in late December 2022, actually, and Putin was saying stuff like, Americans, don't get rid of your guns, and things of that sort. Biden was already in office, and talks weren't going well with him, if at all. I don't even know. I didn't keep up with things as much as my husband did. But one day we were listening to Putin, and we were talking about all the things that were happening in America. We were really big at listening to Alex Jones and the InfoWars, and we listened to Mike Adams, and we listened to a lot of people as we were watching things fall apart in our country. And anyway, my son said, after listening to one of Putin's speeches, he said, "Mom, why don't we just move to Russia?" And you guys have heard this in one of my videos, and I was like, right, yeah, Russia? You gotta be crazy. No, we're not going to Russia. But it was actually a blessing in disguise that my son said such a thing, because it was shortly after that I heard the Lord talking to me. I'm a Christian, and we pray and we talk to the Lord, and so the Lord had said to me, "I want you to go to Russia. You guys are to go to Russia." And I was like, "Really, Lord?" And he said, "Yeah." And this wasn't the first time that he told me. He would talk to me and tell me to do things, and it always turned out to be the right decision. For instance, we were living in New York, and we were trying to decide where to move because our business wasn't taking off. It wasn't a small business friendly state. And we had been there for like a year and a half trying to start a business, and then some situation came about with the business and paying our taxes. We paid our taxes, and they're like, by the way, you need a permit to collect sales tax, and nobody had ever informed us of that before. And they said, if you don't get this permit also, then you can get a fine. And we said, well, okay, well, the business isn't happening, it's not working here, so you can just consider this our last tax payment, and we're gonna leave. So we had gotten an inheritance back then, and we decided to go to Idaho. We ended up back in Texas, though, which is where we had lived previously, and my husband had a good business, so we went back there. Anyhow, that's a whole nother story. I have so many different stories and adventures I've been on, but the point is that the Lord has told us to do certain things, and this was something else that He was telling us to do. And through our other journeys in America, it prepared us to come here. So with that said, it was in December 15th, I started kind of just looking at things, and I looked at, learning Russia in 30 minutes a day. I started finding YouTubers in Russia, for instance, Tim Kirby Hardcore Russia, Tim Kirby Travels. There was expatrussia.org was a site I found, and it had different people on there who were, I guess they're all like a team that worked together for expats. It's called expatrussia.org, and Joe and Svetlana Rose are on there. Father Joseph Gleason, Tim Kirby, and Fabrice Sorlin. I don't know who that is, but never met him. So we also found a guy named Kevin McAleese. He has a YouTube channel called American in Crimea. I'm going to come back to that, but there was a guy I also talked to, Dmitry Shikov, and he has a Facebook page, Orthodox Christians Moving to Russia. I posted on his page, and I started conversing with people there. I said, hi, I'm Christian, wanting to move to Russia. I need some information. I was contacted by another guy about Georgia. He's like, well, there's some programs here that we have raised money. You can come to Georgia if you're an Orthodox Christian. We want Orthodox Christians here. And I'm like, well, I'm not actually an Orthodox. So, and he's like, okay, well, guess that won't work. Started researching all kinds of different things. Let me see, Ellie. Her name's Ellie in Russia. Sam's Russian Adventures, Traveling with Russell, just everybody, all kinds of bloggers. There's so many of them. Justice Walker, lots and lots of YouTube bloggers. So it's a good way if you guys want to learn about Russia, hear about Russia. I recommend following, some of those channels. There's the Hare family. They used to be Siberian Freedom. Now it's, I can't even remember their new channel. I haven't been watching it. And then Wild Siberia, Dan Castle. Anyway, so that's what I did. I just started researching and listening to bloggers talk about Russia. American people who moved to Russia, mostly American. So we started talking even with Tim Kirby. He had a program he was putting together called the American Village in Russia, and that was in Serpikov. He was trying to do back then, and so our plan was like, yeah, let's go be part of the American Village. We would call in on his show. We would talk to him, ask him questions. Really conversed with him a lot, and then there was this guy who is one of his admins who got a hold of us, Kevin McAleese, and he has the channel American in Crimea. So he said, hey, I want to interview you guys. And we said, yeah, no problem. So he did an interview, and it aired on May 13th, 2023. And that was, we were interviewed by Kevin McAleese and his partner, Arkady Itkin. And it was called Leo and Chantel Flee Texas for the American Village in Russia. So we did that interview and talked with Kevin quite a bit. Everybody recommends that you travel to Russia first and see what it's like, get your feet on the ground. But we just felt like the Lord was calling us to Russia. So we went about selling all of our stuff, and we started that, I think it was around March. March is when things really kind of kicked into gear. We started getting all of our documents ready. Let's see, we went and got the kids' passports, Leo's passport updated. Mine was already updated. Made sure I had all the kids' birth certificates, our marriage certificate. We had to send all these documents out to be apostilled. We got our background check. Kevin suggests that we did not get our background check, but we went ahead and did it, and that was kind of stupid because we never got it apostilled, and still hasn't been apostilled, and we don't need it until we're ready to file for let's see, what would it be? Temporary residency or permanent residency? Well, temporary residency. If you're going to file for temporary residency, you have to have the background check apostilled, and it has to be fairly new because otherwise they may or may not accept it. They seem to be accepting most everything, so we'll see. When we get to that point, we haven't gotten there yet. We have our asylum status. So anyway, let's see. All right, so that was up to May. We started talking in April. We got in contact with Timur and started kind of just talking to him a little bit. Just asked him a few questions. He actually helped us with a little matter. We had gotten our visas. We finally, later, we ended up filing for our visas, and our names were misspelled. So he helped us get that straightened out. Thank you, Timur. We appreciate you if you end up watching this. We really appreciated everybody that kind of was giving us tips and advice. We followed most of it, not all of it. Everybody has their own journey, and that's just how that's going to work out for anybody coming. So let's see. So we were talking, I tried to reach out to Svetlana Rose in October of 2023, and I didn't get any response back then, but not until the next month in September. We were getting closer, of course, from leaving, and there's a guy, Peter Froine, I think is how you pronounce his last name, and he was also an admin on Tim Kirby's channel, and for Kevin McAleese. And he actually ended up staying with Kevin McAleese for a while, I guess, and then that kind of went its way. Anyway, Peter Frohan called us up one day, and we were talking to him a lot about, how do we get our money from point A to point B, and he was trying to help us and encourage us how to do that. But anyway, he called up one day and he said, "Hey, I have this lady that I recommend you guys get in touch with, Svetlana Rose." And I said, "Well, I've already tried to." And he said, "Well, she speaks English, and she can help you guys with, whatever you need when you get to Russia." And so we got a hold of Svetlana Rose. Actually, she got a hold of us. So she reached out to us September. I messaged her on the 26th, and she actually replied on the 27th. A lot of times I would ask her questions. Rarely I would get the replies that I was looking for, responses. She said, "Well, I'll find out, get back to you." And a lot of times she wouldn't actually get back to me on certain questions. Some things she did. She was really pretty new at what she was doing, so I don't know. I had watched a video where there was some kind of conference, and I don't remember what it was called, but there was a conference, and Tim Kirby was there. Svetlana and Joseph Rose were there. There were lawyers. I think Timur was there. Timur Beslengrov, I believe is his last name. Beslengrov. And there was another lady there, Arina Popova, I believe is her last name. And there was like this question at hand. They said, "Well, who would be willing to volunteer their time for all these people who want to come?" Because Tim Kirby was putting together the American Village, and he was trying to get approval for this. And so he said, "Okay, I want everybody who's interested in coming to Russia, send me your documents. I need your passports. Everybody in your family, whoever's coming, I need you to send us your passports." And then he also later wanted us to send letters like, "Why do you want to come to Russia? Why do you want to leave the United States or wherever you are and come to Russia?" So we went through all these hoops, and we sent all of our documents. We wrote letters more than once. I think we sent at least twice. Svetlana collected a group of letters. All of this was being overseen by a group in the Duma, I guess. But anyway, so at some point they finally put together these teams of people who wanted to work together, trying to accomplish the goal to help people come to Russia. So our name got put on a list. We think it helped us actually get through the airport, and we weren't really questioned. I think our name was given to somebody. I don't know. We just made it right through the gates. They just had no problem getting through. Some people say that they have a lot of problem getting through when you come through the airport in Russia, and they get questioned. They can be interrogated for 3, 4, 5 hours, held up at the airport, and we were held for about 30 to 45 minutes just sitting there as they had our documents, looking, probably over who we are. it's a good thing. And we had no problem with this. Anyway, so what I want to say is many times, Svetlana would say that she was going to do something. She was going to send us some information. I asked her, I had a list of questions that I asked her, and it took quite a while to get any responses. I know these people are busy, but she said she would help us set up our business. Nobody ever helped us set up our business. Our business still isn't set up. We're trying to do it by ourselves. They also said that they would help us transfer money from the U.S. They had ways of arranging that. Nothing ever happened there with them. Took me forever to figure that one out. She said she was going to send emails with different ideas and her fee. I never received it. We kept on asking her, Svetlana, how much do we owe you? What are you going to charge us for your services? And we never got a response. At least I never did. And anyway, she teamed up with, I guess she became a team member with Marina Popova, who became, much later, I didn't even know that Svetlana had a team, but she ended up becoming our immigration lawyer. So, all right, so let's go back. We bought our plane tickets after we received our visas. As soon as we got our visas, the first time we bought our plane ticket, set for September, no, I'm sorry, November 30th. We were leaving November 30th. So I will tell you roughly what it cost for a family of 5. So with their passports, our visas, the background checks, all the copies of birth certificates and all documents apostilled, plus plane tickets for 5 people, it cost us around $9,000, about $9,000 to get from point A to point B, from the States to Russia. All right, so let's see here. So for months we talked with Tim Kirby about the American Village. That fell apart just before we were coming. His plan that he had there, we kept telling him, Tim, you've got to start a business. You need to start collecting money from people to put in the infrastructure, those people that want to come. And he did not want to do that for whatever reason. I don't know, but he's done it now. Now he's done it, and now he's doing an American Village up in Istra, and the price went up 3 times the amount that it was when we first started. Housing was supposed to be, the house and the property would be about $50,000, and now at Istra it has gone up to at least $150,000. And so I guess it was God's will, because we would not have been able to afford Istra. So we just, it fell apart, and that was that. So we had a friend that we also met off of Tim Kirby's channel, and he's become a friend of ours. His name is Teddy Boy Greg, and he said that he wanted to help us with a place to stay, and he got a hold of a friend who, his friend was living with his girlfriend. So he had an apartment that was completely empty and not being used. And his friend said that we could rent it. and it was going to be a really, pretty small apartment, a small Soviet apartment, but it would be a place for us to land, and we would be able to stay there for as long as we needed to until we found an apartment or a house to buy, which that's what I wanted. We all wanted to buy a house, and that was our plan. So I'm just reading notes here. So we had the apartment, and we left on November 30th, and just as we were getting on the plane, Greg calls and says, "Hey, my friend is backed out. You can't move in there. His parents have decided to remodel his apartment, and it's no longer going to be available. I am so sorry." He's like apologizing all over the place, and we were freaking out. Now we have nowhere to land. So I said, "Look, call Svetlana. Svetlana will help us find a place. You guys need to work really hard, really quickly to find an apartment, something we can move into." It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So if you're planning anything, I don't know how you can guarantee that you have a place to stay. There are no guarantees. Anybody can back out at any time on you guys, so just be careful. Excuse me. So we get on the airplane, and I'm kind of freaking out, but I'm just praying to the Lord, and that the Lord would work everything out for us. I mean, worst case scenario, we'd have to go and rent a hotel, And when we got to Serbia, I called Svetlana and asked her, how things were going, and she said she still hadn't been able to find a place for us, and nobody wanted to register us. That was the biggest problem. Like, people don't want to register you in their home because they're afraid that you're gonna take their home over and never give it back, or some weird things. I don't really completely understand this issue still, but it's a very, very big problem for many people, and it became another problem later for us. But for now, Svetlana was going to go ahead and just keep looking, and she had a friend who works for the Duma, and his wife is a manager, property manager, I guess, and she was managing a place called the Hooter Ruski in Moscow, and it's I don't know what it's called, but I assumed it was like a hostel, because it had lots of rooms, and but you had to share the kitchen, and there was like a banya and a hot tub, whatnot, but there was like a common room, place where you could wash your laundry, and I would call that a hostel. But anyway, so when we arrived, Svetlana said, "Look, I found a place for you guys to stay. It's going to cost you like 5,000 rubles a night." And I was like, wow, we can't stay there very long. And so it was a nice place, though. I really liked the cabin. It was like this big, huge log cabin with like 3 levels, and we had the very, very top floor all by ourselves. There was nobody else staying up there. There were a couple other rooms, but the whole hostel was pretty much empty. And we arrived there. I apologize. I don't know what day of the week it was, but it was December 1st, 2023. So we're almost at a year. Almost 1 year in Russia. Just a few days left. So we arrived at the Hooter Ruski, and it must have been, I think, Thursday? Maybe a Wednesday or Thursday. And so we negotiated to be able to stay there for like 5 days, I think it was. I think we arrived Thursday. Maybe it was Friday. Anyway, it was December 1st. And the owners of the property invited us to dinner the next day. I think it was Saturday. So yeah, we came in on a Friday. Okay. So anyway, we got to the Hooter, we dropped off all of our stuff, and then we had to meet with Svetlana and Joseph over at the mall because they were going to help us get new phones because our phones weren't working. They would also help us get a new bank account and exchange some money at the mall where they have the money exchangers so you can change your dollars into rubles. And they also, let's see, we had, I think that was it. Oh yeah, and we had to have some documents copied, which was really expensive. Don't go that route. It was $35. $35 just to go make some copies of our passports, which we never even used. Yeah. Here, make these copies. No, we didn't need to make the copies. One of your very first purchase, the very first purchase that you need to make when you get to Russia is a printer. Because you're going to need a lot of copies of your documents. People always, no matter where you go to get all your stuff dealt with, every place you have to go to talk to somebody, whether it's a school, whether it's the doctor's offices, whether it's the immigration offices, all of that stuff, they always need copies of your documents. They want to see your originals, but then they want to have a copy. So, and it all has to be translated once you get to Russia. You have to translate everything into the Russian language, and then they need to notarize it and kind of apostille it. So that's a whole nother expense that you have to go through. But purchase number one, a printer. We did. That was one of our first purchases, if not the first purchase we made when we got here. All right, so we ended up hanging out. That was Friday. Saturday, the manager and family wanted us to come down for dinner. So we met with them, and that was Dmitry Kuznetsov. Turns out he's a Duma member. Nice couple, very nice couple. They speak some English. We used our translator, and everybody in the Hooter were very nice to us, very polite, and we were polite back. And one of the things that we decided to do was, while Leo and the boys were outside scraping snow, they were outside with snow shovels shoveling snow for a couple hours, I don't know. And he saw that when he came, and he was impressed. He was like, "You guys, you don't have to do that, you know." And we were like, "We know, but we just want to, right?" So he liked seeing that here he had people staying there and shoveling snow, not getting paid, not being asked to do it, just doing it. Sorry, my slippers are coming off. So he was impressed with that, and he really liked that. And anyway, let's see. So that was a Saturday. We had dinner with him, and then we had to shovel the snow, I think, to get him out of there. He made a video. He made a video of Leo there at the Hooter, kind of questioning him, like saying, why are you here? That's the biggest question. Well, what are you doing in Russia? Why have you come to Russia? Everybody wants to know that one. So anyway, he made a video of Leo on December 2023, December 3rd, and he did another post on the 13th, about us, and I'll get to that in a few moments. But on Sunday, on that Sunday, I guess it was right after he made the video, and he was shoveling snow, we got ready, and he came and he was hanging out again, and he said, hey, let's go over to Svetlana's house. They're having a Bible study. Excuse me. It's kind of late here. But anyway, they were doing a Bible study dinner. And so Dimitri said, I'll take your kids for you over there, and you and me and Leo, we would catch a cab and meet them there. That way we didn't have to get two cabs. And they had a son, and so they put our kids in their car. Here I am, like, putting my kids in a car with complete strangers. It's a little scary and nerve-wracking for me, but I knew that they were going to go to Svetlana's house, so didn't really know them either that much at all. And anyway, we felt comfortable with it, so we allowed it. We felt comfortable with a lot of things in Russia, a lot different than we ever have in America. We would never let our kids go anywhere with complete strangers, but we just had a good feeling and we allowed it. So anyway, so we went over to Svetlana's house and we had dinner and had a little Bible study and prayer, and we shared our testimony of why we came to Russia, and we told them our need, that we were looking for a place to live, and we needed a place to rent while we look for a house to buy. And Dmitry Kuznetsov said, I have a friend, I will talk to him and we will see. I will let you know tomorrow what he says. So I guess I can't remember if he told us or he told Svetlana that. That's right. Dmitry told Svetlana that he had a friend who had property, and Svetlana called us. Maybe it was the next day. It had to be the next day on Monday. She said, Dmitry has a friend who has some property, and he thinks that you guys could possibly stay there, and he'll register you. And here's his phone number. You need to call him and see if it's something that'll work for you guys. He speaks English. He's a pastor. He's a Baptist pastor. Should be a good thing. Go talk to him. Go see it. You guys decide. So Monday, Leo called him and talked to him. His name is Vitaly Krylovich Vlasenko, and he is a Baptist pastor, and he also told us that he was the Vitaly, well, I guess that was a little bit later, but let's see here. Leo went to meet up with Vitaly on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, Leo took a train, from Moscow, north end of Moscow, where we were staying. He took a train down to Domodedovo, and that's where Vitaly lives. Vitaly picked up Leo from the train station, and then they drove down to this property that Vitaly owns. It's a farm. It used to be a co-op farmland, and Vitaly somehow ended up with this farm property He didn't buy it. Supposedly he was given this farmland from some lady. I really don't understand that. It's not my business. But he had this farmland, and it had a couple cabins there and a main house and a barn. And it really wasn't a main house, but it was like a summer house, and the porch had been enclosed, and they had a kitchen in there, and a banya and a bathroom and all this stuff. So that was the main house. And then he had these two cabins that some people that were living on the land helped him build, actually built it for him. And one cabin had 3 rooms and a common room, and then it had a bathroom plumbed, but nothing installed. Anyway, 3 bedrooms. I have 3 sons. It sounded perfect. And then he had another cabin that was also 3 rooms, and they were like a bedroom, a living room, and another room which you could do something with. And so we turned that into our, I don't know, where we put all our closets, and we put in a kitchen and a wood stove, and we put wood stoves in as soon as we moved in, or shortly after, anyway. So anyway, he said that we could stay there as long as we wanted, and all we had to do was oversee the farm animals in exchange for the rent. We weren't living for free. We took care of his farm animals. He had farm animals born in January, in the middle of winter. We had to bring them into the house. We had to clean up their poop and their pee all over the place. We had to feed them, keep them warm. Had to build fires, get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and make sure that they were eating properly. There was all kinds of problems with this farm, and we have been accused as being freeloaders, and we never freeloaded off of anybody. In fact, Vitali said all you have to do is care for the animals, and that's it. Make sure that they're fed and they're watered. He had a horse, he had sheep, he had goats, rabbits, chickens. So we had to take care of all these farm animals in exchange for rent, and a dog. And we were to improve anything that we wanted to. He said, you guys take care of it as if it's your own. You're the king of the castle. Do whatever you want. Okay. So we didn't do much, but we did do. We improved both of the cabins. We cleaned up and redid a little bit of the inside of the house, and we we just took care of everything. Anyway, took care of whatever needed to be dealt with. So, so he said, you don't have to owe me anything. You don't owe me anything. And we said, well, your electricity bill is going to go up, so we would like to pay for the electricity. We will divide the electricity, and we'll pay 5 portions out of 6, because there was another person there, and we said we would divide it 6 ways. There was actually 2 people there, but one left pretty quickly. But anyway, all right, so we agreed and we moved just in time to get registered. So he had several days, but he had a daughter who worked in the immigration office, and she said that she would help her dad file all of the documents and get us registered. So she did that. So when we arrived on the farm in Zendikova, let's see, there was the 2 farms. Oh my goodness. We talked with Vitali. quite a bit. He was there every week. He would come once a week, and he would bring, like, he'd go and buy a bunch of food that's expired or about to expire, rotten. Sometimes it was like disgusting, rotten food. He would pick it up in bulk from the grocery store for the farm animals. And sometimes there would be some good stuff left that the people that lived on the farm, including us, would take to eat, whether it was bread or sometimes some vegetables, but they were like the things that were being thrown out. He'd buy it in bulk and get whatever. It all had to go, and they just threw in whatever they had. It was good or bad. You bought the good, and the bad came with it. So that's just how that worked out. I don't know. It's something the farmers do. We know farmers that did that in New York as well. So anyway, so we would talk with Vitali about our situation and why we were there. He took pictures. He sent them to Dimitri. Dimitri posted them on his page. Talked about us, had a couple pictures of us, and yeah. So there came a point where we were talking about our money and how we really were kind of stressed out on how to get our money exchanged from dollars to rubles. And Leo would talk to him about that, I don't know, probably 2, 3 or 4 times. And Vitali, one day, finally, he came and he told us that his son, Daniel Lysenko, would be able to help us. And I was like, okay, how's he going to help us? He said, well, my son owns a business with his partner. They've been best friends for a long time, and they've started a business, and they do some kind of investments or something. He said, I don't really know that much about it, but I know that he told me that he's the CEO, and he's the one who deals with all of the money on a regular basis, and he'll be able to help you. He can help you exchange your dollars, because, see, if your dollars weren't perfect, the bank wouldn't accept them. So everybody says, well, why didn't you put your money in the bank? The bank wouldn't accept a lot of it, and the exchange rate at that point was better if you could go to the exchanges in the mall. If you exchanged your rubles or your dollars for rubles, you'd get a better exchange rate. But those were all the way up in Moscow, which was 2 hours away from us. So we couldn't keep going up there to exchange our money. We didn't want the money sitting around at the house. We could have put it in the bank, should have put it in the bank. Yeah, we should have put it in the bank. And from now what I have come to learn is that there was a very good interest rate on money, but we didn't trust banks. We didn't trust banks in America. So we were still working in our fears from America when we came to Russia. Not everything goes away, you don't feel like, oh well, I didn't trust it in America, but I should trust everything here. No, I mean, we weren't in that place yet, and I don't know. We didn't do it. But anyway, he said, my son can help you exchange everything into rubles. And so we said, okay, well, we can talk to him, see what you're talking about. Now, this man, Vitali, the pastor, he had told us that he was the head of the Russian Evangelical Alliance. And so we thought, well, this man's got to be a pretty honorable man. I mean, he's got to be an honest, upright Christian to to do what he's doing. He's a pastor. He's the head of the Evangelical Alliance. He has to be trusted by people in the Duma. He's got friends that are in the Duma. He must be a trustworthy guy. I mean, why would we not trust him? So Vitaly told us about his son, and we decided to meet with his son. So he actually brought his son down to the farm, and Leo and he talked for several hours about what Daniel did. And Leo told me that he was what he would do is he would buy vehicles from other countries and ship them here and then resell them. And he dealt with large fleets, and he showed Leo, all these pictures of all these people that he worked with, and people of high power and high ranking in many nations. And he had his picture with these people. Who are they? I don't know. I mean, we really didn't know. He could have made up any story. And that's where I was like, I don't give a rat's patootie who you're having a picture with or what this is about. I don't know you. I don't know this person who wanted to help us. I didn't trust him. And Leo did. And that became a problem for us. Yeah, that became a big problem. Problem we're still trying to deal with. But now people know their names. And they've said they were going to give back the money several times. But we'll get back to that. All right, so Daniel comes down to the farm, and he talked to Leo and talked Leo into handing over our money so that he could exchange it for us, all from USD to rubles. So we trusted that everything would work out. He said, in a couple of days I will be able to exchange everything. This is nothing compared to the money that I deal with on a regular basis. He says, I've got currencies and all kinds of different currencies. This is not going to be a problem. I'll get it dealt with, and I'll get it back to you. Shouldn't take more than 2 days. So that was, let's see, that would have been Thursday, Wednesday night. I think it was Wednesday night. He took our money. And everything was fine. Everything was fine. He took the money. He exchanged that and a little bit of crypto that we had. He said everything's legal. There's no problem, because we asked him, hey, look, we have some cryptocurrency. Can you exchange that? And is it legal? And he said yes. Yeah, there's no problem. There's no reason for it to be illegal, especially since he was doing it. So he got that all taken care of, and then a couple days later, I think it was a Friday or Saturday, it was December 29th. December 29th, he got it completed, and Vitaly invited us to come to his house and pick up the money. He said, I don't want Daniel to bring it to you. I want you to come to the house and pick it up, because I don't want anything to happen to him or or the money. And so we said, okay, and we got on a train and we went up to Domodedovo to pick up our money. By the time we got there, it was pretty late, and they got some pizza. They ordered pizza from Papa John's, which is an American company. That was nice. It was very similar to the Papa John's in America, but some of the flavors were different. Definitely different toppings and whatnot, but it's still, they have the little garlic butter just like they do in America, and the jalapenos on the side. So that was a nice little touch by Tally. So they had a very nice big spread of food along with pizza, and it was getting late, and so they invited us to stay the night. Daniel gave us all of our money, and he said, I would like to help you guys. I want to help you some more. I want to help you. And well, this video has gotten long enough, and so I think for now I want to cut it off. It's late. I want to go to bed, but I want to come back to this story, and it gets juicier. It gets a lot juicier. So I'm going to load this one up and let you guys go crazy with it, and I'll come back to what happened to our money from there with Daniel Vlasenko and Vitaly Krilovich Vlasenko. So we're hoping to see justice. We pray regularly that they would do what's right. They have not yet given our money back. And again, I will get into more detail about that, but I'm praying that that Putin actually will get this attention. I don't know why he would. He's got a World War III at the door and knocking. He's trying to deal with that, but I know that he cares. I know that he has a big heart, and he loves his country. He doesn't want to hear bad things that are happening in his country, but some bad things have happened, not only to us, but other people, and this can happen in any country. It happens in America. It happens in every nation. It happens in Africa. It happens everywhere. But we were in a very vulnerable state. We were so wise in our own nation and so foolish when we got here. I think the big talk that Vitaly would say to Leo, that he wanted to open up a church and he wanted to open up a conference center there on his farm and do all these things with his barn. Inside this big barn, we were going to build a conference center. And he was making like Leo's eyes like and his heart filled up. And so he really knew how to manipulate us and make us feel comfortable and trusting. But, you know, that's what scammers do. They make you feel important. They make you feel like, you know, something good's happening. And I'm going to take my glasses off again. And anyway, we were in a very vulnerable state. We wanted to get here, buy a home, settle down, start a business, build a future for our kids. That's why we came to Russia. And all of that came to a screeching halt. And we've had many challenges since then. So we'll get on to that story another day. So I'll record some more. But I want to say goodbye for now. And I appreciate all of you who have supported us and haven't turned your back on us, because there's a lot more that happened that I would love to share with you guys. But anyway, again, God bless you guys, and God bless Russia. Thank you, Russia, for giving us asylum and giving us a chance. We thank you. Пока-пока.